welcome to The Positive Side. I'm Anne DeSantis, your host, and I have a wonderful show today. I have a nonprofit organization called Acting Antics. They're from the Chester County, Pennsylvania area. I have the founder, Cindy Schneider. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you.
And I have the executive director, Melissa Ferkler. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. Now, what they do is they focus on all abilities, but specifically they have helped a lot of people within the special needs category to help them with their their social skills through acting. So it's a fascinating program that you have, and I'm really personally excited to learn a lot more about it on this show. Cindy, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the history and even your own personal story.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, I was involved in community theater since I was a child and loved it from the beginning. I had the bug right away as an avocation. And then in my career, I worked with special needs children. And I did that for 20 years, and then I was a consultant for the same organization in Chester County for 7 more years. So working mostly with people with autism. So it's very much my passion. I began dabbling with doing theater workshops with special needs population, with the autism population specifically, and saw very quickly that it was a great match, that it was really a great way to help them build confidence and help them learn some of the skills that are difficult for them. After doing a lot of these workshops kind of individually, in 2006 I wrote this book, Acting Antics, that kind of gives some of the games and techniques that we use all the time. And then in 2007 it was published, and the same year we opened our actual Acting Antics program in an old barn that wasn't heated, etc. So it was an adventure. And that's when we really started to grow the program and do things more regularly and hire staff other than myself. So it was very exciting. So in 2011, we moved, my husband and I moved to a property where we had an outbuilding on our property, and that became our acting studio. My husband did all of the maintenance and building and everything around that, while I did the other administration and teaching things. In 2015, my husband had a stroke.
Sorry to hear that.
So our lives changed significantly, and we needed to leave our property to make life simpler and move to an apartment. And at that point, I was very fearful that the Acting Antics dream that we had created might, wither away. But Melissa stepped up to the plate. She was one of my instructors, very gifted, and really took on ownership of this and learned all the ins and outs, and has been developing more resources, more exciting things for Antics. So I'm just so grateful that we're able to really continue. We don't have our home space, but we are able to, at this point, use different spaces and rent places, etc. So we are, in full gear.
I know you are, and we were talking right before the show started that we have a common friend, Tracy Flynn, so I'm very grateful to her for connecting us. And as I've been kind of telling people of having you both on the show, people have been saying, oh, they do such wonderful work. So I'm really honored. So I'm really honored to have you here on this show. I just want to hold up the book that she was talking about. It is called Acting Antics, and it is available on Amazon and on Kindle, and it is a theatrical approach to teaching social understanding to kids and teens with Asperger syndrome. So check it out if you want to check that out on Amazon, and I'm sure it's on your website too.
It is on the website.
And their website is actingantics.org. So if you have that phone, the tablet, take it out, check it out now. I'm sure that they would appreciate it, making new friends, and that's part of why we're doing this show, is to letting people know about the good work that you're doing.
Yes.
So Melissa, I was wondering if you could tell us, being that you're the executive director, what is that like for you in working in this position?
Well, it has been more than rewarding, and I would like to just really quick thank Cindy for all the amazing work and the foundation that she's built with Acting Antics, because it's really given me a place to continue with my dream. And I always tell people that if money didn't matter, this is what I would do. and that's why I'm so passionate about it. And some of the things that we're doing with Acting Antics is amazing. The classes that we run right now range from ages 5 all the way up to adult. And I can tell you a little bit about the classes if
Yes,
you like.
please. I'd love to hear about the classes. I'm sure our viewers would too.
Sure, yeah. So we start with a young population, and it's called Movin' and Groovin'. So if you have kids 5 years old to about 12 years old, it's really like a classroom-based circle time. We do a lot of transitions. We're teaching them, social skills through eye contact and music. So when the music starts, you stand up. When the music stops, you sit down. It's a really cute program and a great starter program.
I think it's amazing because when you and I were speaking, we had a little phone call the other day just to kind of talk about the show. You mentioned that it's for all abilities, and I think that's really a great thing because you're focusing on special needs, but you know what? Everybody needs those social skills, I think.
Social skills are life skills.
Yes, they really are, that you take with you from birth all the way up, because I know you said that your average age for the younger people is around 5, was that correct?
That's the youngest, pretty much, yeah.
And goes all the way up through, I know that you also are dealing even with some young adults and some adults as well.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us more about the mission and just your own experience with what you're doing.
Sure. So like we said, we're a nonprofit organization, but our mission is really that we're a theater program that teaches social skills to all abilities, like we mentioned. So we're not really focused on one population, not just special needs, but we do focus a lot of our attention on people on the autism spectrum and any other kind of social deficits or cognitive differences. So we like to bring in typical peers and siblings and have really good peer modeling. So all abilities.
Amazing, amazing. Now, just to repeat again, so actingantics.org. We were talking a little bit before the show started about ways that people can help. And I know that you said that they can be volunteers, and you could maybe even, of course, the donations also help. So maybe you could just tell, if somebody's watching and would like to be a volunteer, you're located in the Chester County area, and which areas do you encompass exactly in the Philadelphia area?
Sure, yeah, we're pretty much in the tri-state area, but we do have a program called On the Road, and it's where if you have a space and you have a need, that we pack up all our skits and our costumes and our props and we come to you. We also, in local school districts, so in the tri-state area, if there's any school district looking for adding an enrichment program to their ESY, their summer school program, we again pack up all our props and costumes and skits and we come to you and we do an hour or 2 hour program during the summer school day, which is really exciting. But yeah, we pretty much stay within the local area, but that's because we're small right now and we're really looking to grow in the future. So we're looking to branch out and make more connections and have teachers to just help more people in the community and spread and grow.
Yes, it's amazing. I really love what you're doing. Thank you. So just going back to Cindy, you've been involved in this for so long, and I know you've met some wonderful families. Could you just tell us a little bit about some of those experiences?
Sure. Yeah, it's really been remarkable. From the very first workshop that I had as sort of an experiment, one of those really early ones was with teenagers, and I just rented a school space and we had an evening program, and these were teenagers, and they came in. Now, these parents didn't know me from Adam at this point, and so we went in the gym and we were working on our program, and the parents kind of networked out in the lobby together. They didn't know each other, so they were learning each other, and anyway, we had this wonderful couple of hours of games and improv and skits, and these were kids who were very verbal, because we do have a range. So this particular group was quite verbal, but definitely didn't understand all the social skills. When the group was over and I went out to the lobby, the parents were just smiling from ear to ear. And one father grabbed my hand and shook it and said, this is the first time in his 13 years that I've ever been able to bring him somewhere and leave him for 2 hours and hear him laughing and having fun.
And
that's amazing. It both was wonderful, but it also broke my heart, because this shouldn't be the only time that happens. So yes, the families have been unbelievable. They're very appreciative of what we do with their kids. They really start to see the benefit. And we do have a range of classes that Melissa was beginning to allude to, from the early kind of music class to musical theater to an acting and improv kind of thing for some of our older and more capable people. You want to talk a little bit about that? So you've been
that'd
teaching
be great.
that one
If you could
recently.
tell us.
Yeah, so after Moving and Grooving, we offer a youth class, and that's for it's a little bit more challenging. So we start to bring out skits and costumes, and we're really teaching what we call the big three. So we're teaching them to read people's facial expressions and body language and the tone of their voice, and we're really teaching them, how to read people. And
I need that.
Yeah, exactly. Social skills are life skills. Everybody needs that.
I need that.
It's really important. So that's a really great starter class for them to build a foundation of theater on, and really start to build friendships and get confidence in the theater world. So it's super important.
Well, confidence is a great word too, because especially I think in today's world with young people, I mean, there's so much, not that it's necessary, but so much like competition. And this takes away that, it makes it, hey, having fun together, enjoying each other's company, making friends,
It's really a safe environment,
safe,
and it takes
yeah.
away the pressure of making friends. I know that this population of kids that we work with, they really have a lot of pressure, not just on themselves, but like in school and their parents, and it's really important for them to make connections and to have friends, and it really takes the pressure off, because you come into Acting Antics and everybody's a friend right from the beginning.
Love
and
it.
by the end, you're family. Like once you're in the Acting Antics family, you're in it forever, right?
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful. So again, their book, Acting Antics by Cindy B. Schneider, on Amazon, Kindle, and I'm sure it's on your website too.
It is.
And it looks like it's a great workbook. And I think you had told me that it's really a training too.
It's a great
So
training
if somebody
tool.
buys this book and you just want to learn those social skills, hey, it's on Kindle.
Yeah,
I love that.
There's a huge need for school districts and people to have these skills. So it's worth every penny.
Got to spread the word. Help them
Yeah.
spread the word. So back to now, you started
have more
talking about the
classes.
youth. Let's hear about more of those classes.
So after the youth, there's also a inclusive musical theater class.
Okay.
And this is for all ages, which a lot of our classes are broken down into ages and abilities, but this is for everybody. It's a wide range. So we have kids that do musical who are nonverbal. We have, teens, adults in wheelchairs. We have people who go to college and are super high functioning. It's just for everybody. We have siblings come. It's really great.
Amazing. Now we do have to take a break, and I'm excited to say that we have some graphics, maybe even some videos, so we will be right back.
Great.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind the scenes footage, previews, and more.
Choosing Medicare company.
Hi, welcome back to The Positive Side. Anne DeSantis with my friends from Acting Antics at actingantics.org. They're from the Chester County, Pennsylvania area, and they help people develop better social skills. Their mission is a theatrical approach to teaching social understanding to all needs, and especially starting out also even with children and adults that have special needs. So as we were on the break, we were looking at some videos. I was wondering if you could explain those videos and what was happening there.
Sure. They were both just short clips, one from a rehearsal and one from our show recently of a new partnership doing big fundraisers. So we always host once a year, we host a big fundraiser, and we have a cast of over 30 kids, teens, and adults of all abilities put on a show. And the most recent one that was shown on there was partnered with SALT Performing Arts, and it was amazing.
Awesome. And once again, just remember that there's ways that you can help Acting Antics, and that would be to go on their website at actingantics.org. There's a donate button. And also being a volunteer. So if you're in the greater Philadelphia area, you can contact them about that. Now, I know you have a lot more to tell us about the classes. So if you could just kind of backtrack and tell us more about those classes.
Yeah, I was ending with our musical theater class. And after that, we have a class called Actors in Action, which is really a class for 13 and above. So young adults could be in this class. And it's really a movement class. It's a lot of dancing, a lot of music, and we really get the actors moving. And this is an all abilities class. So we have, people coming in, dancing in wheelchairs. We have people that don't talk. We have people that are super into dancing and take dance classes all over the place. So it's a great all abilities class. And we end with an improv class, which is a much more challenging teen and adult class. And it's really about thinking on your feet. There's some team building and real improv that is really enjoyable.
There's a lot of learning going on there, and as you said, all abilities. I mean, I love that, and that's like you said, very inclusive of all of those abilities. I know that you started out kind of on that autism spectrum, but you've branched out so much more. Any more classes you want to tell us about?
We also run dance classes. Sometimes of the year we were doing some college prep classes.
And a social night.
Yeah, our biggest thing right now that's really fun and growing is we do something called a social night. And it's for our teens and adult crowd. And we do it every other Friday night in the tri-state area. So we're out in the community. We do make your own pizza night. We do escape the rooms, bowling.
Awesome.
Tonight we have a karaoke dance party.
Okay.
So it's really a great chance to, just get out there. You don't have to commit. You could just come and check it out on that night. You could just RSVP. You could pay at the door. And it's, again, a class where there's different ages, different abilities, and it just works. Everybody's just friends, and it's a lot of fun.
It must be wonderful just to watch all this happen before your eyes and be a part of it for both of you. I mean, being a part of such a good mission. So is there anything else? I want to make sure this show is about Acting Antics. It's about your friends. It's about making new friends. Is there anything else that you want to share about the classes or about the organization?
Yeah, I wanted to share some of the things that make it so rewarding for us and some of the impact on an individual basis that we can have. And we see it all the time. We see families and children and young people just grow, which is great. But sometimes there are these specific moments that just really bring it home for us, and is what we're about. One of the programs that I have done for years is to go out to the National Autism Conference of Penn State, and I run a program with teens out there. And we do a musical show, about a 35-minute musical show in 4.5 days. And it's a combination of kids on the autism spectrum and their siblings. So we have a mixed group there, which is fabulous. And one of the things that had happened one year was a young man came in and he really wasn't interested in being there, but his father and parents wanted to go to the session, so there he was. So he was not belligerent, but he was not really cooperating and going with the program, and he just clearly didn't want to be there. So his father came to me during the lunch break and said, I just can't do this. He's had such a meltdown over lunch. I'm just going to leave him in the hotel room. Blah. And I said, just give us a chance to try to get to know him and get him on board. And so he, after lunch, the child shows up, and the dad is like, he decided to come back.
Oh, there you go.
So we went about, and as the week went on, the guy who started as an observer we connected over his love of Transformers, the toys and things that transform into cars and robots and things. And we connected over that. I would always, share interest with him on that. And we had some of the kids in the performance writing little commercials for our show. And so on the Wednesday before we were going to perform on Thursday, he said to me, could I write a commercial about my Transformers? And I said, of course. Doesn't matter if we didn't rehearse it, whatever. So he did, and it was precious. And the next day we had our final dress, and then we had 2 performances. So Thursday morning, he comes to me right before the first performance, and he said, would it be okay if I just come in and do the opening number with everybody? And I'm thinking, he's never done it. I said, of course you can, of course.
Awesome.
And by the afternoon, he went on stage for every one of
There you
the
go.
company
Knew every
numbers.
move.
So afterwards, we asked the families and everything if they have questions for us or questions for the kids about their experience. And we had some questions, and then all of a sudden, this dad, who's a big, kind of burly guy, raises his hand and then stands up and looks at me and has tears coming down his thing, this young man's father. And he said to me, just thank you.
Thank you.
And
Well, it goes right to your heart.
oh, yes. They're videotaping, and I'm just like bawling at that point. But it's just so wonderful to see that kind of thing, that this could really be a turning point for this young man.
Thank you
And,
for doing wonderful work for others.
you.
It really, that's what this show is about. That's what the positive side is about. So I want you to tell us about the future, if you could,
Sure,
Melissa.
yeah. We could basically quickly break it down into 3 points. I could talk all day about it, but I'll keep it to 3 points. And the first one is location. So like I said, we're in the tri-state area, but we've been transitioning, learning the nonprofit field. So we're really looking for a permanent home base. At the current moment, we are renting space, we're borrowing space, we're partnering, and it really feels like we're in search of a real home.
Okay.
A place to keep our props and costumes, and a place for this population it's really important to have routine and consistency. So number one is location. Number two is we're really trying to grow a strong board. It's important for nonprofits behind the scenes, behind all the amazing work in making all these programs happen, is to have well-connected people in the community. So if you know somebody in the community or that's connected, we're really interested in people who have nonprofit experience and fundraising experience. Which brings me to my third point in all nonprofits is funds.
Oh, yes.
So I'm learning the nonprofit field and that it is always about funding. So our most important thing in the future is we really want to grow and expand, and we want to reach more people and want to help more families. So in order to do that, we need sponsorships from corporations. We need sponsorships for people just donating on a regular basis and having more income. So ways you can do that is go on the website. You could sponsor a child to do a scholarship program.
Oh.
And most of our donations go directly to our scholarship fund, which is that we don't want to turn anybody away. So we want to, families that need a little extra help, we do payment plans, we do partial scholarships, and we even do full scholarships so that kids can come and participate in our 8 to 13 week classes and put a show on for friends and family in the community at the end and really showcase what they've learned.
Amazing. Now, is there anything else before we end? We do have to end in just a couple minutes. Was there anything else you wanted to share with our viewers?
I think just anybody on board who can come on board and support us in whatever way is right for you would be wonderful. We really see everyone grow in this program. We grow, we learn every single day from this population, and our typical peers and role models learn, and of course the kiddos and young people that we're targeting learn. So if you can support us in any way, we would love it.
Thank you. It has been a real pleasure for me. I'm very grateful to both of you for being on the positive side. Cindy Schneider, Melissa Ferkler.
Thank you.
I'm Anne DeSantis, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.